I think it'll actually be that people don't have to work at all. And it may not be that far in the future. Maybe only, 10, I'd say less than 20 years.
One does question that with AI, if productivity were to go up, and I heard you speak about UHI instead of UBI.
Yeah. I think it will be universal high income.
In a world like that, I wonder if more people want to live in cities which are always going to be more polluted and not offer the quality of lifestyle that a rural environment might.
Well, I guess it's up to, some people want to be around a lot of people and some people don't. It's going to be maybe a matter of personal choice. But I think in the future, it won't be, I think it won't be the case that you have to be in a city for a job. Because I think my prediction is in the future, working will be optional.
Right. We seem to be moving from, not in India, but in some parts of the West, from 6 days to 5 days to 4 days to 3.
Not me.
I think the Europeans.
Yeah. There's, I think if you're trying to make a startup succeed or you're trying to make a company do very difficult things, then you definitely need to put in serious hours. I think that's
right.
That's how it goes.
And if we were to move from 5 to 4 to 3 days, how do you think society changes? When people have to work half the week, what do they do with the other half?
Well, I think it'll actually be that people don't have to work at all. And it may not be that far in the future. Maybe only, 10, I'd say less than 20 years. My prediction is in less than 20 years, working will be optional. Working at all will be optional. Like a hobby, pretty much.
And that would be because of increased productivity, meaning people do not have to work?
They don't have to. Look, obviously people can play this back in 20 years and say, look, Elon made this ridiculous prediction and it's not true. But I think it will turn out to be true that in less than 20 years, and maybe even as little as, 10 or 15 years, the advancements in AI and robotics will bring us to the point where working is optional. In the same way that, like, say, you can grow your own vegetables in your garden, or you could go to the store and buy vegetables. So much harder to grow your own vegetables. but some people like to grow their vegetables, which is fine, But it'll be optional in that way, is my prediction.
If one were to argue that humans are innately competitive and everything is relative, from the time of hunters, somebody wanted to be the alpha hunter or the biggest farmer. If everybody gets a universal high income and everybody has enough.
What do you compete for?
It would be relative, right? Like if we all had enough, enough is not enough.
I guess I'm not exactly sure, because we're really headed into the singularity, as it's called, which they refer to AI sometimes as the kind of like a black hole, like a singularity. You don't know what happens after the event horizon. It doesn't mean that something bad happens; it just means you don't know what happens. I'm confident that if AI and robotics continue to advance, which they are advancing very rapidly, like I said, working will be optional, and people will have any goods and services that they want. If you can think of it, you can have it, type of thing. But then at a certain point, AI will actually saturate on anything humans can think of. And then at that point, it becomes a situation where AI is doing things for AI and robotics are doing things for AI and robotics because they've run out of things to do to make the humans happy. Because there's a limit. You say like, people can only eat so much food, or it's going to be. I think if you can think of it, you can have it. Will be the future.
You know, the Austrian School of Economics, if you go back in time, they were the digression from Adam Smith. They talk about the marginal utility of everything. Having one of something has value, having two of the same thing has lesser value, and having 10 of the same thing has no value.
Yes.
So if we could have everything we wanted,
like
maybe
10 marshmallows. I mean, who wants that? One's plenty. This is the marshmallow test. You're like, you can have 2 marshmallows later or 1 marshmallow now. And I'm like, I'll have 1 marshmallow. I don't want 2 marshmallows.
That's interesting. What would you pick?
I don't, like, 1 marshmallow is enough. I always question marshmallows as being like not the most, the best candy,
Yeah.
Well, I don't yearn for marshmallows.
I think you're the best.
Who does?
You're the best testament to the marshmallow experiment. I think.
I suppose so.
I
mean, like delayed gratification, essentially. Yeah.
You're able to delay it more than most. I have a tattoo which says delay gratification.
Yeah, wow, okay. What's this? Okay, you're really taking the marshmallow test on.
I feel like I can't remember. When I'm trading or when I'm buying into
Delay gratification, yeah.
It helps.
Wow, okay. That's
it's
commitment.
It's pointing at me, so it reminds me of...
Okay, well, it's good advice. I mean, I can't miss it.
If you could get if you could get a tattoo, what would you get?
I guess maybe my kids' names or something.
Right. Why do you like the letter X as much as you do?
Well, I mean, well, it's a good question, honestly. Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with me. I mean, it started off with where I think, so way back in ancient times, in '99, the pre-Cambrian era when there were only sponges, there were only 3 one-letter domain names, and I think it's X, Q, and Z, and I was like, okay, I want to create this place where it's the financial crossroads, or like the financial exchange, It's essentially solving money from an information theory standpoint, where the current banking system is a large number of heterogeneous databases with batch processing that are not secure. And if we could have a sort of a single database that was real time and secure, that would be more efficient from an information theory standpoint than a large number of heterogeneous databases that batch process very slowly and securely. So that was sort of X.com way back in the day, which kind of became PayPal, and then and it was acquired by eBay. And then someone reached out from eBay and said, "Hey, do you want to buy the domain name back?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I had the domain name for quite a while. And then, yes. Then I was like, well, maybe this acquiring Twitter would also be an opportunity to revisit the original plan of X.com, which is to create this like clearinghouse of financial transactions, like basically to create a more efficient money database. Is a way to think about it. Is like people, like money is really an information system for labor allocation. Like people sometimes think money is power in and of itself, but it doesn't really. If there's no labor to allocate, it's meaningless. So if you were to be on a desert island with $1 trillion, dollars or whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, right. Why speculate when you can be real? I just hope I don't end up on a desert island. It's not going to be very useful to me. But it illustrates my point that if you're stranded on a desert island with $1 trillion, it's not useful because there's no labor to allocate. You just allocate yourself. So it's this long-winded way of saying that it's just really like I'm just kind of slowly revisiting this idea that I had 25 years ago to create a more efficient money database. And if that's successful, people will use it. And if it's not successful, they won't use it. And then I also like the idea of like sort of having a unified app or website or whatever where you can do you can do anything you want there. So sort of China has this with WeChat,
right,
somewhat. Where you can exchange information, you can publish information, you can exchange money, you can people kind of live their life on WeChat in China. It's quite useful, but there's no real WeChat outside of China. So it's kind of WeChat plus, I'd say, is the idea for X. Anyway, so then Space Exploration Technologies is the full name of the company, but it's like, that's too much, that's a mouthful. So I was like, we'll just call it SpaceX, like FedEx for space. It just happens to have an X in the, because exploration has an X, but, and I was like, well, I like the idea of capitalizing the X just artistically. So then that's why it's SpaceX. But, and then, what else we got? We got a kid. He's called X2. But his mother is the one that named him X. And I said, people are really going to think I've got to think about X if we name our kid X2, And I said to her, like, look, I do have X.com, So people are going to really think I've got somewhat of a fetish for this letter. But she said, no, she likes X and she wants to call him X. I'm like, okay.
Is this a new thing or have you had it growing up?
No, I'm saying it's somewhat of a coincidence,
Right.
Like not everything's called X. I mean, there's no X's in Tesla,
What do you think money will be in the future, Elon?
I think long term, I think money disappears as a concept. Honestly, it's kind of strange, but in a future where anyone can have anything, I think you no longer need money as a database for labor allocation. If AI and robotics are big enough to satisfy all human needs, then money is no longer, its relevance declines dramatically. I'm not sure we will have it. So the best sort of imagining of this future that I've read is from Ian Banks, the culture books. So I recommend people read the culture books. In this sort of far future of the culture books, they don't have money either. And everyone can pretty much have whatever they want. So there's still some fundamental currencies, if you will, that are physics-based. So energy is the true currency. This is why I said Bitcoin is based on energy. You can't legislate energy. You can't just, pass a law and suddenly have a lot of energy. It's very difficult to generate energy, especially to harness energy in a useful way to do useful work. So I think that probably we won't have money, and probably we'll just have energy, power generation as the de facto currency. So, I mean, I think one way to frame civilizational progress is the percentage completion on the Kardashev scale. So, Kardashev 1 is what percentage of a planet's energy are you successfully turning into useful work? and I'm maybe paraphrasing here a little bit, but Kardashev 2 would be what percentage of the sun's energy are you converting into useful work? Kardashev 3 would be what percentage of the galaxy are you converting into useful work? So things really, I think, become energy-based.
But if you have solar-powered AI satellites, energy is also free and abundant, because we'll never be able to utilize all the solar energy available to us. So it can't be a store of wealth, essentially, in that sense, can it?
You know, there's not really, you can't really store wealth in like, you can only, you can accumulate numbers in currently you can accumulate numbers in a database that allow you to some degree to incent the behavior of other humans in particular directions.
Yeah.
And I guess people call that wealth. But again, if there's no humans around, there's no wealth accumulation is meaningless.
This is a digression, but if you were to consider food as the energy for a human to thrive.
Yeah, food is energy. It's literally got calories, just means energy.
Yeah. So can a farm which is self-sustaining be a commodity that is?
I'm not sure what that means, but you know, there's, I think at a certain point you do complete the cycle where, and I think at a certain point you decouple from the sort of conventional economy if you have AI and robots producing chips and solar panels, and mining resources in order to make chips and robots, in order to make you sort of complete that cycle. Once that cycle is complete, I think that's the point at which you decouple from the monetary system.
Is that the way forward for the US by virtue of how much debt they have today? Do they deflate away their currency and transition into this new form and lead that push because it would make more sense to them?
Well, in this future that I'm talking about, the notion of countries becomes sort of anachronistic.
Do you believe in it today? Do you believe in countries?
I certainly believe in it today. And I want to just separate like something that these are just what I think will happen based on what I see, as opposed to I think these are fundamentally good things and I'm trying to make them happen. It's like I think this would happen with or without me, whether I like it or not.
Right.
As long as civilization keeps advancing, we will have AI and robotics at very large scale. I think that's pretty much the only thing that's going to solve for the U.S. debt crisis. You know, because currently the U.S. debt is insanely high, and the interest payments on the debt exceed the entire military budget of the United States. Just the interest payments, and that's at least in the short term going to continue to increase. So I think actually the only thing that can solve for the debt situation is AI and robotics, but it will more than it might cause. I guess it probably would cause significant deflation because, you know, deflation or inflation is really the ratio of goods and services produced to the change in the money supply. So if goods and services output increases faster than the money supply, you will have deflation. If goods and services decreases, if real goods and services output increases slower than the money supply, you have inflation. It's that simple. People sometimes try to make it more complicated than that, but it just isn't. So if you have AI and robotics and a dramatic increase in the output of goods and services, probably you will have deflation. That seems likely. Because you will simply won't be able to increase the money supply as fast as you can increase the output of goods and services.
If deflation is inevitable because of AI, why do
it's most likely the case, yeah.
Right. Why do we have inflation again all over in society today? Has AI not led to increased productivity yet?
AI has not yet made enough of an impact on productivity to increase the goods and services faster than the increase in the money supply. So the U.S. is increasing money supply quite substantially with, deficits that are on the order of $2 trillion.
Yeah.
So you have to have, goods and services output increase more than that in order to not have inflation. So we're not there yet. But if you say how long would it take us to get there? I think it's 3 years. Probably 3 years before. In 3 years or less, my guess is goods and services output will exceed the rate of inflation. Goods and services growth will exceed money supply growth in about 3 years.
Maybe after those 3 years, you have deflation and then interest rates go to zero and then the debt is a smaller problem than it is.
Yes.
Right?
That's most likely the case.
If you could speak to the people of my country, India, the young entrepreneurs who want to build and say a message to them, what would you say?
Well, I think I'm a big fan of anyone who wants to build. So I think anyone who wants to, make more than they take has my respect. So that's the main thing you should aim for. Aim to make more than you take. Be a net contributor to society. It's kind of like the pursuit of happiness. If you want to create something valuable financially, you don't pursue that. It's best to actually pursue providing useful products and services. If you do that, then money will come as a natural consequence of that, as opposed to pursuing money directly. Just like you can't sort of pursue happiness directly. You pursue things that lead to happiness, but there's not like direct happiness pursuit. You do things like, fulfilling work or study or friends, loved ones, that as a result make you happy. So that's it sounds like very obvious, but generally, if somebody's trying to make a company work, they should expect to grind super hard, accept that there's some meaningful chance of failure. But just be focused on having the output be worth more than the input. That are you a value creator? That's what really matters. Making more than you take.
We don't play that. We don't play that. We don't play that. G-Unit. We don't play around.